Hello everyone and welcome to Games, Comics and Crafts.
In this series of videos, I'll be looking at the Judge Dredd case files in order and picking out the most prominent and important stories, as well as noting some artists and writers that actually appear in these books. Okay, so we are now at case file number 17. We start off with Babes in Arms, which is basically about a group of female criminals that are getting revenge on their partners. We've got a cyborg, a gun kind of using person, and some random stuff. Yeah, it's okay. Again, it's one of those painted ones, so backgrounds tend to be very, very lacking unless they're really, really needed. Which is always seems to be a problem with a lot of the painted stuff of this era. But yeah, all in all, not terrible. What we got next? That goes on for a few pages. Yeah, the helmet's absolutely terrible. Where's the rest of his head? That's crazy. Anyway, on to the next one. We've got. Okay, this goes on for longer than I thought it was. Dub, dub, dub. Yep, very good, very good. Almighty Dread, which is about a cult that worship Judge Dredd. We've got some Ian Gibson artwork, although he's got even more cartoonier during this time, but it's still pretty decent. Pretty good colouring as well. Always very cool. That's not too bad. We've got next up after that, I believe we have A Magic Place, which is a follow-up to a previous story about this secret garden on a block, and start off with Dylan artwork, which is always brilliant. Love Dylan's stuff. Dylan and Bolland are kind of my two definitive Dredds in my opinion. We're followed by Esquerra. But yeah, so they got a garden inside inside the block, which is nobody goes into, and it's got this guy here who's the he's called Blender, and he kills people with a blender, and they basically try and hide out in the park, end up killing the good kid and all this kind of stuff. That's pretty good. Shame the artwork isn't all Dylan all the way through because it goes to this cartoony one, which again, not too bad, not too terrible. And then we've got the bulk of the rest of the book, which is Judgment Day, which is a huge crossover between 2000 AD and Judge Dredd magazine. So this is about a necromancer on another planet, which basically is going to attack Earth. We start off with the zombies in the Judge Dredd stuff. We get 2 parts. I think we get 4 parts of this, which again, artwork's nice, pretty decent. Then we get this part here, which is from the magazine, and we've actually got a thing there where we're actually flipping between the magazine and the 2000 AD parts, because obviously, um, to try and do that, you'd have to have one magazine come out every 4 parts. This one is funny enough isn't numbered. You got part 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you got this part, and then 5 is in 2000 AD afterwards. So this is more Dean Ornstrom stuff. Now the interesting stuff they did about this is that a lot of the magazine stuff at the beginning, at least, tells this Johnny Alpha side story rather than the Judge Dredd story. So we've got Johnny Alpha Strontium Dog crossover here. Now Johnny Alpha was always kind of one of them characters that was like a possible future for Judge Dredd's world, possibly a parallel universe, possibly something completely unconnected. But this kind of almost confirms it, because they do say it's a time job when he goes back in time rather than a dimensional job. So theoretically, this confirms that Strontium Dog is in the future of Dredd. And I believe later on, I don't know what volume it's going to be, but we do see a volume later on with a young Nelson Bunker Krillman, Johnny Elfman's father, being in a Dredd story. So we'll see how this goes. But I think we've got like till 2170, I think, before the Strontium Dog stuff kicks off. So we've got a good few years yet before it really matters. But yeah, so they keep the Johnny Alpha stuff in the magazine. So he ends up going to blah, 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 I can't remember. I'm gonna say he goes to the Japan Hondo City. Goes to Japan and beats up with the judge inspector that beat Dredd up last time, and it's kind of like trying to track him down. Then we cut back to the Judge Dredd stuff where they're fighting the zombies. Have already kind of started along. And we get a couple of parts of that, and we get decent Square artwork in this one. And I think the colorist in this one is they definitely seem to improve the coloring as well, because the early Square stuff that was colored seemed to be a very, very kind of gradiated and kind of a little bit muddy. But this kind of improves. But after a little while, it's quite interesting because I don't know if they changed the um, release schedule for magazine during this time, because we get a new magazine part every 2 issues after the 2008 stuff, rather than just every 4. So I think they might have changed it. Anyway, this goes on for a long time. Basically, they fight some zombies on Earth. They manage to track the guy back to the planet. They blow the planet up. Artwork in this is really nice. This is the guy. I think they stopped doing the boxes, haven't they? Is that Doherty? Yeah, Doherty. This is the guy that did that Justice 1 story last time. It was really good. Basically, they get a group of judges together to go and try and kill him, and Johnny Alpha pretends to be part of that judge group. What's that looks like? Is that Carl Critchlow or is that Kevin Walker? That looks like something very similar to that. That's in the Bisley style. Um, Again, backgrounds, not backgrounds in these parts. So yeah, they get a group of judges together. Alpha kind of knocks out the one of the judges, and we get this really cool samurai armor, which is as Quero designed, I believe. Um, Beautiful, looks really really good. And we see that for a few issues. And then we get to the stage where the Normstrom stuff comes along, and we get to see the armor, and it's like that. It's dull. It's not very good. Yeah, it's compared to the samurai armor. It's cool. So this is like supposed to be the same armor. So it's like, okay. So either this was done concurrently, so that or simultaneously, sorry, so that all of the stuff was being drawn at the same time, which kind of makes sense if you're trying to screw your schedule up. But it's a shame they didn't have that armor designed for all the pieces. But you presumably say it's the same armor. So yeah, carries on. They get to the planet. They get captured. We get a little bit of history about the necromancer, which is pretty cool. And then basically, they managed to give him a good kicking. Um, they cut his head off, and his head goes on its little tentacles and all this kind of stuff. And Alpha managed to kill it. And at the end of the day, he's got this kind of uh, massive crystal spike that enhances energy, and they cut his head off and stick it on the spike, so he lives forever stuck on this spike. And off they go, and that's it. That's the end of it. It's just like, okay, who's going to mess with us? That's it. And that's a classic thing. So we get to see a little bit of Judge Dredd and Strong Dog at the same time. Pretty cool. Not a bad story. Um, Goes on for a long time, but it's okay. Marshall's next about a group of people from the Cursed Earth, which come to try and kill the chief judge because they find some Justice Department stuff that's poisoned their land. Again, pretty decent artwork. Now this has got to be Kev Walker, surely. I bet I can't find the thing. Oh no, it's Sean Phillips. Okay, so yeah, I knew it was somebody that was painting. But again, this is gets more. There's more background to this. There's more. It's kind of still that kind of painterly style, and colouring and all that kind of stuff. But there is, rather than just kind of plain backgrounds, there is actually buildings and stuff. Pretty decent. Pretty decent. Texas City Sting about in rounds up some warrants in Texas City, and you basically see the difference between Mega City One and Texas City. I don't know whose artwork. The artwork looks a bit like Hickleton, but kind of like inked. Yeah, kind of like inked by somebody else. So I'm not too sure if it is or not. But all in all, not too bad. Bit again, little bit cartoonish, but at least it's consistent, and it's got some there's some backgrounds and some designs and stuff in there as well. And I think then we round up with this one, which I don't know if it's actually even got a name on it, which has got a Jimmy the Brick with his policeman's helmets on, and a kind of a Queen, uh, a Kiss tribute band thing going on. Bit of an odd one. More Square stuff though, very very nice, and that just rounds out the actual book itself. So yeah, covers all pretty good. Greg Staples. Okay, right. Greg Staples is the first artist. Sean Phillips as well. Colby was the one that took over from Dylan. Doherty's the one from the Justice One. Ryan Williamson, don't know. Erin's is there. Esquera. Doherty again. Doherty's really good. Really good. More Esquera stuff. Sean Phillips. Chris Halls from the magazine, which I vaguely remember. Number 2 of the magazine. So yeah, because they obviously when magazine they had a relaunch. They would have a year. Originally, they had a year's worth of issues, and then they relaunched it with volume 2, and then they carried on with another one, and they were basically going to do a new volume every year. That didn't maintain. I think after 3 volumes, they stopped doing that. That's a Dean Ormston one. But yeah, I was kind of getting magazine on and off through this time. So Judgment Day, I think I remember reading more of the magazine stuff than I actually was the 2000 Daily stuff. But so this is probably the first time I actually read it all the way through. I kind of knew it ended and knew it kind of how the middle was, but I didn't remember it part by part. But all in all, not a bad story. 17. I thought we were in a situation now where we had a kind of a lull in the kind of mega epics of crossovers, and obviously I was wrong. We forgot about Judgment Day. In volume 18 is going to have probably one of my favourite introductions to the Judge Dredd universe. Yeah, that's a bit what I can say about this one. So catch me next month for volume 18, and hopefully I'll see you on another few videos before then. Thanks very much. Bye bye.